The Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games are, at least to me, some of the most intriguing lore we've ever had in a Pokemon game. We've had so much time to go through the mysteries of the main game and, well, they're not solved yet and the DLC is only a few months away. Today we're going to look at some mysteries that have been there since the beginning and that seem to be having some new additions in the DLC as well. So hey, I'm not so a strainer, and what about those symbols? Let's get into it. The symbols I'm talking about are the 4 symbols you see on the logo art for both the Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet games and the logo art for the DLC, the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero. While I've mentioned these symbols before in some past videos, I have never dedicated a full one to actually explore and expose my thoughts on the matter. Well, you know what? That's about to change, and we're gonna start with the ones that are pretty much obvious, which are, almost half of them, so we have a little bit of the work already cut out for us. And also, I want to know what you think about these symbols as well, so don't forget to let me know that in the comments down below, and subscribe if you like the content. Now let's start. From the original Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet logos, we have this symbol right here that many of you probably remember from your reads of the Scarlet or Violet books. It is part of the Phantom Memory, which was Hit's strange, weird dream where he ended up with a page he wrote but doesn't remember writing. This specific symbol is very likely a reference to Terra Energy, maybe even the Time Machine room itself. The hexagon shape is basically like this thing we see right here that was being studied by the professors in the Pocopath Lighthouse Lab, which, let's be honest, is the baby turtle, and we are likely using that in our Terra orbs, or at least a part of it. And this fact will likely play a role in the DLC as well. Also important to note that there's clearly a difference between the logo symbol and the page symbol. While very similar and likely referring to the same thing, they are a bit different. Now, and since the other 3 need a little bit of exploring and explaining, we move on to the DLC ones that don't. And well, the first one is the same symbol you see in the flags in Mosui Town in Kitakami, which is a side view of the Oni Mountain or Onigashima, whatever you want to call it. So that symbol is referencing our adventure in the Teal Mask and the place where Overpawn is. Then, the bottom left symbol is the Blueberry Academy logo, so it is doing the same thing as the first but referencing our adventure in the Indigo Disc. And these are the ones that we can pretty much tell what they are, but after this, well, we start with 3 from the original art that, while found in game, we have absolutely no idea what they mean, so they require a little bit of the old speculation. This first symbol is very similar to the one found in the mysterious plate we see overlooking the Zero Lab. The same plate that was found way back in the day when the expedition Hith was a part of went down into the Great Crater, and because of that, it appears in the books as well. Also, once again, one very important thing to note is the slight difference between not only the logo symbol and the book symbol, because the logo one has an open triangle and not a closed one, but also between the book one and the actual game one. It might be the perspective of the drawing, but the map doesn't seem to be there. And the rest of the plates, the ones with the text, are very different in appearance when we actually find the plate. They have the same text, at least at first glance, but it is not in the same place at all. And they are one full thing and not really separated. As for an explanation, I believe the interlocking triangles are telling us that 2 things connect there. Pretty obvious. 2 worlds, 2 timelines, 2 dreams, something connects there that shouldn't connect. Maybe the way it should be is how it is in the logo. We have to open the closed triangle in order for things to come back to how they are supposed to be. Though it could also be that it is meant to be closed and not open. Another thing to note is that I believe that the plate we are seeing there is actually just a vision of whoever reality we are exploring. They didn't have the full image of the plate, it was never shown to us, only the description. And so, they just pieced everything together in their heads, and that's the layout we have in Area Zero. The next symbol is also found in Area Zero, inside the cave where you can catch Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant. And it is also in the books. It is the 4 circles with the arrows pointing to each other in what seems like a loop. Many theories have been thrown around about this, with the closed loop theory being probably the most widely accepted one. This theory tells us that what's going on in Area Zero is basically a predestination paradox, where the Pokemon Heath saw were just there because they were sent from the future to the past by the professors, which in turn caused the professors to become obsessed with those Pokemon that technically only existed because of them. I kind of disagree with this, and it might be my bias towards the Dream Theory, because I just like that theory. I think it makes more sense. But first of all, we gotta note once again that there's a difference between the box art symbol and the actual in-game symbol. This time, both the game and the books are exactly the same, because instead of just a drawing, you have a picture. So the professors have the full picture in their minds of this specific thing when they got into Area Zero. The box art only has the arrows, while in the actual game you see the arrows forming a square. 4 arrows just like the 4 cardinal directions on a game about exploration, where they are very important that form a square in the middle where the Great Crater of Paldea is in the region's map. To me, this is a visual representation of the saying, all paths lead to the Great Crater of Paldea, something that Hassel tells you and seems to be a saying in the region. This is an expression that takes inspiration from the all roads lead to Rome saying we have in a boring real world. And it means it doesn't matter what you do, how you do it, what you choose, it eventually leads to the same outcome. So what I believe this means with the saying in mind is that there's something going on that cannot be stopped. There's an event that was started or was already going on, either by human hand or just naturally, that cannot be stopped now. Something is moving, and it will likely play a role in the DLC or maybe in future games even, that we cannot stop and will simply happen. That leaves us with the last one from the main game. This symbol is present in a very hidden spot in the professor's lab in the Pocopath Lighthouse. In the whiteboard right in the corner you can see it in a slightly different manner. And once again, that might have some meaning when all is said and done, maybe a mistake in the professor's calculations, for example. My first thought when looking at it was, alright, that's referencing the legendary ride Pokemon, because it kinda looked like a stylized bicycle to me. But seeing it on the whiteboard next to all the calculations means that it has to be related to Terra Energy, so it cannot really be the legendary ride Pokemon. I mean, it could because they are connected to the energy, but I don't think it is. Since it doesn't seem to be part of the actual calculations, it might be a vector, a way of establishing the position of a point relative to another, and the whirlpool might be the origin of said point that eventually not only crosses the vector itself but also forms its own. And this, to me, sounds like an alternative reality forming, which could be related to the two things that are shown in the interlocking triangles from the mysterious plate. Could a new timeline actually be forming past Gen 9? Could Gen 10 actually bring a new timeline into the Pokemon world? So we're done with the speculation for the main game symbols, and as you can see they are pretty much very unresolved. And now here comes the DLC adding even more into the pile of questions we have, so well, let's carry on. Let's start with this one here in the bottom right. It seems to be a mix of two different symbols. One of them is very recognizable to us as it is the symbol for the Terrazole phenomenon, which in turn has been compared to a turtle seen from above, which might mean it is a reference to Terrapagos. But it has what looks like some kind of heart attached to the top, and while I don't really know exactly what this could mean, I speculate that it means that the Terrazole phenomenon and Terrapagos itself is connected to heart or desire, wish, something that you want. When you wish upon a star, and well, that kinda looks like a star, doesn't it? Also, if you've played Hades before, doesn't it look like the Aphrodite heart symbol? It really does to me, and she also played into the whole desired thing pretty well. Connecting this symbol to Terrapagos and the other two to Kitakami and the Blueberry Academy kinda pointed me into a not so cool, not so crazy direction, but that might be the right one. So that's why I believe the last symbol we have might just be related to Overpawn. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind when looking at the top right symbol was a scary face, even though the pentagon shapes can also lead you to think about Terrapagos. Still, following that approach, you are looking at Overpawn's mask, the fearsome mask that seems to make everyone in Mosui afraid of that Pokemon. It is very likely though that this isn't all there is to these symbols, though at this point, with the information we have, it feels like the biggest mysteries are within the box art logos. And even after playing the game and looking through every nook and cranny, we are constantly bombarded with new theories about what they are supposed to mean. Still, I wouldn't count the DLC out just yet, as I'm sure there are a lot of surprises waiting for us there. And that is all I have for you today. Finally, my take on the symbols after I don't know how many videos, but I really want to know what you feel about them as well. So what about you? How do you feel about these symbols? Do you have any extra explanations? Let me know in the comments down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media and Twitch, it's either Wednesday to Sunday, not Saturday, or join our Discord. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.